Half a day, and thanks for tuning into PNC's News First. We are broadcasting live in Guam and in Saipan. I'm Tim Blossom-Kendrick.
And I'm Janella Carrera. Thanks for joining us. Your top story tonight, the governor's office is defending a decision it made to interject in the ongoing procurement protest of the $100 million Simon Sanchez RFP, saying Governor Eddie Calvo is not sticking his neck out for the intended winner, Guam Educational Facilities Foundation. He's sticking his neck out for Simon Sanchez High School. Here's more. It was labeled the $100 million question. A press release from the governor's office yesterday questioning Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson's refusal to submit a substantial interest letter that could essentially throw out the protest filed by Cortec International. They filed that protest on grounds that the Department of Public Works violated procurement law when it awarded the contract to Guam Educational Facilities Foundation for the renovation of Simon Sanchez High School. Cortec also filed that protest on grounds that GIF failed to disclose a relationship between Governor Eddie Calvo and his first cousin, Eduardo Champ Calvo, who has a direct or indirect interest in GIF through his company, which is a subcontractor for GIF. Why is the governor seemingly sticking his neck out for GIF, essentially putting a stamp of approval on this contract for them?
Well, so like I said, it's not about any one particular contract or project, it's about the students. And really, the governor's not sticking his neck out for any specific contractor or any specific project. He's sticking his neck out because he cares about the students. He cares about their health and their safety. He's sticking his neck out because he cares about the safety and the health of the employees who work there. You have folks who have been there for years and they've had to work in those deplorable conditions.
In the press release, DPW Deputy Director Felix Benavente is quoted as saying he is extremely puzzled by the AG's refusal to participate in the substantial interest proposal. That proposal began with GIF President Richard Inman, which then led to a chain of letters of substantial interest from DPW and the Guam Department of Education. Assistant Attorney General Tom Keeler, who is representing DPW in the procurement protest, also jumped on board. But the only signature left to complete the substantial interest process was from the AG herself, which she refused to do. What does it do, though, to even if you say it's for the students, it's for the school that he's doing this for, what does it do? Because legally, there's nothing that, if sending out a message like that could do. If the AG's office, if the Attorney General herself doesn't want to do that substantial interest letter, it serves no purpose.
I think it does serve a purpose.
Well, is he hoping that the AG would maybe change her mind at some point?
Yeah, and that's the thing is maybe if when you remind folks that look, you had two deputy attorney generals sit in through this entire process, and we think they did a good job.
Why not just ask her then? Why not just say, hey, Attorney General, we really need this for our students. I urge you to change your mind. Because the way that the press release sounded, it sounded like it was more adversarial.
This is a public issue, and we want the community to know what's going on. There is a community that relies on that sort of transparent messaging, and that's what we did. We're asking the question, albeit publicly, because it's like, hey, look, there's a reason why you had these two deputy AGs. It's something that people should know. It's something that people should understand.
Meanwhile, protest hearings were scheduled to resume today, but were postponed to next Monday. Protester Cortec has already rested its case. Up next to present its case is the Department of Public Works.
DOE has managed, with help from several agencies over the years, to keep Simon Sanchez, from falling apart. But really, you can't keep putting Band-Aids on the problem and expect it to stay together, for too long.
The AG's office was unavailable for comment. Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks also said she could not comment on the matter. However, she did point out that, quote, everybody deserves their day in court, end quote.
Going on the offensive and in the wake of last night's Supervisory Commission meeting, the governor's office is questioning Guam Department of Education's cash management, saying that GDOE's Deputy Superintendent Taling Taitano is, quote, playing victim, end quote. Here's more.
Department of Education's Deputy Superintendent of Finance, Taling Taitano, responded to this morning's press release from Adelup, calling her, quote, victim and playing the, quote, victim card in regards to DOE's supposed cash shortfall. Taitano was not available for an on-camera interview, but she told us in a phone interview saying, quote, I'm not playing the victim card. I just expected to have the full cash that goes with the allotments, and I'm not the victim here. We're trying to pay for the school, our vendors, etc. PNC sat down with Governor spokesperson Oya Niarikla, providing an unofficial breakdown of the cash that's already been allotted to GDOE for this fiscal year. Based on this unofficial report, GDOE should have already received about $212 million, $14 to $15 million over the agreed upon amount.
DOA has been consistent in providing you the agreed upon amount and then some every week, right? For the last, so one is, how can you be surprised, you know, when at the amount that you have? And two, you know, how is it that, you know, you're short? And you're saying that you can't pay net payroll, or you can't, which is, you know, you're not supposed to do. You can't pay net payroll, or you can't pay utilities, you know, when this is the amount that you agreed upon.
Niarikla then directed her comments directly to GDOE, questioning their cash management skills.
In those times when, you know, for whatever reason, cash is a little tight, you know, we need everyone to manage their cash wisely, you know, and that's the question is how are you doing that? You know, and if you are, then how is it that the amounts that you said was acceptable is now falling short? You know, it's a question of cash management.
For PNC's News First, I'm Rebecca Elmore.
Well, it was a candle that sparked the devastating and catastrophic fire that claimed 5 young lives in Jigo Monday night. The Guam Fire Department has ruled the fire to be accidental and due to an unattended lit candle that ignited surrounding combustible materials. The fire was first reported around 11 p.m. Guam police say there were 8 children inside the wood and tin structure, and while 3 of the children were able to escape, the remaining 5 girls between the ages of 2 to 14 perished in the fire. Meanwhile, Governor Eddie Calvo has tasked a team to assist the Nathan family. A boot drive has been scheduled for Wednesday, October 5th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the 3 major intersections, Micronesia Mall, ITC, and Chief Kapua Loop. Individuals or organizations that would like to help can call Adelup at 473-8931.
And a Guam native has been found dead in his Alaska home Tuesday, and police there are investigating his death. Zonia native Sergeant Alexander Alcantara who is in the U.S. Army and was assigned to Fort Wainwright Base, Alaska, was found dead last Tuesday by a family member, according to an article in the Army Times. The 40-year-old sergeant was in the 1st Stryker Brigade Combat Team, 25th Infantry Division. Alcantara's death is still undergoing investigation. However, police say they don't suspect any foul play at this time. Sergeant Alcantara trained at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and served at Fort Wainwright and Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington, prior to returning to Alaska in August of 2013.
Convicted murderer Chad DeSoto may take the stand at his next hearing to request for leniency. At DeSoto's hearing yesterday afternoon on his motion to bar photos and videos, his legal counsel, Assistant Public Defender Jocelyn Roden, said the defense will have 1 witness plus DeSoto taking the stand. Judge Anita Sokola cautioned that doing so would mean that DeSoto would be waiving his privilege to remain silent. The prosecution will also be bringing in witnesses for DeSoto's motion hearing for sentence reduction. DeSoto is currently serving a life sentence plus 35 years for a killing spree in Tumon that left 3 tourists dead and 11 others injured in February of 2013. Meanwhile, Judge Sokola will be making her decision tomorrow on the motion to bar photo and video recording at DeSoto's hearing for sentence reduction. That hearing is scheduled for October 6th at 1:30 p.m.
All right, well, stay with us. PNC's News First will be back after this short break.